Hi guys, welcome to the Honest Perfume Reviewer. My name is Kiki. I'm filming from Sweden. I've gotten kind of a lot of new followers or subscribers, although I post very seldomly. I don't know if the algorithm is sort of, giving me special benefits to kind of keep me going. I don't know. Like it's being my videos are being shown to more people. I'm not sure, or if it could be, what I've titled my videos or whatever. Anyway, I'm just happy that people are still following me, want to share this hobby of mine. I just quit my job not too long ago, and I'm enjoying life so much. I'm taking a coaching course, and this is also allowing me to put more time into figuring out what to do with my house. I'm trying to sell it, and that takes a lot of time, and also thinking about the next step. And I've also have some new interests. I'm interested now in art. I'm interested in flowers and plants. And I've learned things like, maybe many of you have learned this from your parents, like when you were younger, but like I've never learned, like this plant right behind me there, that used to be, I've made actually like one plant into three plants. Like just I'll take that inner pot out, typically made of plastic, and then just kind of separate it into three sections and then put it into a bigger pot with more dirt. So I'll just teach you one little thing and then we'll get into the perfumes. When the roots start to come out and show out of the plastic inner pot, and very many plants are sold, at least in Sweden, with pots that are really just considered a transportation pot. They're too small. They need more dirt. So you need to, when that happens, when the roots start to poke out at the bottom, and that happens pretty quickly, you need to transfer the plant into a pot. You have to go up two sizes and put it in a bigger pot. So pots are expensive, so I'm kind of running out of pots, but like bigger pots. But I'm also getting bigger and bigger flowers, which is really nice. So one flower now is three flowers or plants. It's great fun. So there's either that you can make one into several, or you can just replant and make give them more space and they'll bloom out and kind of spread out. It's fun. It's just an example of a hobby that I've been able to cultivate some more. And I find the coaching is also really rewarding. Today I had my second session. You need like 100 sessions before you actually can apply. You can test to become certified, and then you have to take a test, and you have to have 100 hours with clients, and 75% of them have to be paid. And I don't have to charge a lot, but I have to charge for these. And this woman, this was her second session, and seriously, I am in awe about the things that she's accomplished. And I have really done nothing except ask questions. Pretty much that's all. And it's all about, helping the client discover blind spots, to find their potential, maybe to see things from a different perspective, also to allow themselves to dream. Because if you can't dream and visualize what you really want, you can't really put that into clear goals. You'll have it was just really, really fun. And I feel like I'm learning a skill, like a pretty basic that I can use, in my parenting or in my relationships, or if I'm a manager again, I'll use it with my employees. I'm learning a lot. It's great. Anyway, today I thought I'd share with you a few different things. I just received this in the mail. Maybe we'll just start there. Like a little packet. I bought this from someone in our online, like in a Facebook group that we have. It's a mixture of these we call them little sniffs. It's from this company called Sniff, SNIPH. I think if you're in the UK or you're in Sweden, you can buy from them. Maybe they're in other countries as well. I don't know. But you can buy perfumes like in these 8 milliliter vials. And like in here, he sold this little packet of samples and sniffs and for like $15. And there's so little in these each. And I mean, he knew that he was done with these. And then I got, this is Istanbul from Gallivant. There's enough to try it, And this is from Hysteria de Parfum. This is not a blue bottle. Number, I don't know. I can't see without my glasses, but I'll find out about it. Followed by Kerosene, which I can smell as soon as I opened it. And this is nothing I would wear, but it smells amazing. It's a coffee and deep, dark chocolate fragrance. It's not something I would like to smell of, but it is fantastic to put your nose to it. And it smells like putting your nose down into a bag of coffee that you just opened up. with a little bit of like some chocolatey thing going on in the background. It's amazing. It was just fun to have a few drops of it and try it. And then I've got God of Fire, and there's basically almost nothing there, but there's enough for like a wear. And it's from the house of Stephane Humbert Lucas 777, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. And I believe this might be the mango fragrance. I'm not sure, but these are like fragrances that I haven't gotten the chance to try at home. And this is the one that made me buy this little packet. Why I'm bringing this up is I think it's a great way to declutter. Like I think a lot of us have like shoe boxes of samples and, you know, decants and little, you know, subscription type perfume vials. And we kind of already know that they're not our favorites, but it's too little to sell this, right? You're not gonna charge anyone for this, and you don't know who to give it to because your normal friends wouldn't understand it. But to just group them together in like 7 or 8 little fragrances and put them all in a packet and sell them pretty cheap, and you're clearing out, and you're also passing fragrances on, you know, enabling us to discuss fragrance, which is great. This is why I bought this one, and this is the fragrance. It's called Crush on Me, and it's from a Turkish house, and it's called Unique Luxury. And the English here, the reason I kind of got my eyes on this house, I had not heard of it. I don't think I'd heard of it anyway. When Ramsey talked about it, you know, I follow Ramsey, and I have mixed feelings about Ramsey. His channel's name is Ramsey, and he now has over 10,000 subscribers. Good work, Ramsey. He puts so much content out there. He's like a living encyclopedia, fragrance encyclopedia, I should say. And we don't agree about everything, but he does not either believe in, you know, accepting free bottles, but he does accept sometimes free bottles, which kind of puzzles me. It's okay sometimes when it's him. And it's from a small, like artisanal kind of house. And he has 700 bottles in his collection, and he's bought like 99% of them with his own money. So, I mean, I can see what he's saying. I just kind of feel that no free bottles, period. That's me. But because it will affect, I mean, I'm even affected if someone gives me a free sample. If I know people in the shop, I don't want to like, I feel bad going online and just trashing it. I have a hard time with this because I'm not friends with any particular perfume house. Well, I am a little bit actually with some Swedish ones. Not close friends, but like they're acquaintances that I would feel bad if I trashed their stuff, honestly. And then I know people that run different shops. I mean, I know Paulina at Fragrance and Art, and I know Christian and what's her name? Wenke at COW. I think these places sell to some of your countries as well. But they offer a range of houses, so it's not like. But you know, I remember. You know, even if I got a discovery set from Christian one time, and like I felt bad, like if I'm not impressed and make a video about it. And now I know that many of you guys you're way outside of Sweden and it doesn't affect you at all. But it really makes it a little bit difficult to review fragrances that someone has given you. Anyway, Ramsey made like a whole video. I don't know if it was a live stream or he just dedicated his videos are typically really long, and this video is hilarious. You should go watch it if you just want entertainment. But he's kind of, what I didn't like about it is that he's kind of made up his mind about his opinion about this house without really, like, before he even started sniffing them. Like, he thinks they're such a joke. I mean, he hates Inicio, Parfums de Marly, Xerjoff. There's so many houses that he just hates, and he overgeneralizes. I don't think he's giving them a fair chance from the beginning, but I do respect his knowledge. And I just found it really funny that this Turkish house has chosen, first of all, to call themselves Unique Luxury. It's like unique with a Q-U-E at the end, apostrophe E. So it's E apostrophe E. It's like, it's some kind of made up English. And then he's trying to entertain everybody and laughing at them the way they've kind of created their blurbs about the different fragrances, and it's all like really, really bad English. Like nobody that knows English even as well as like someone who has it as a second or third language could possibly have read through it and okayed it. Like they haven't run it by anyone. But okay, so this is in this house, I know like they're really expensive bottles. Crush on Me might be the most famous one. There's also one called Mango Explosion, I think, or something. Mango, and I think they were sold exclusively in Beverly Hills from the beginning. Well, I don't know. They started out of Turkey. Anyway, I've been dying to get I haven't tried any of these fragrances. So you're going to try this with me now for the first time. I have no idea what it's going to smell like. What is it? I haven't even looked up the notes or anything. It's kind of it's not bad. Not bad. I'm getting like violet, cedarwood. It's a little bit sweet. Maybe some vanilla in there. It's a little bit powdery. I'm going to give it another wear. I mean, I'm going to give it a proper wear for sure. It's not garbage. I can tell you that much. It's a little spicy. It's a little spicy as well. I'm getting more gourmand qualities now, but it's like, yeah, there's definitely some purple flowers in there, I think. I have no idea what's in here. I'll get back to you on Crush on Me. Do you have any opinions about it? Please let me know in the comments. So that'll be fun. That's the reason I got these. The other ones were kind of like bonuses. And I thought, $15 for all of these. And I can, I have things to talk about on my channel. Here's one called Morocco. I don't even know what, doesn't even say what house. I'll have to ask him. And here came one without anything on it at all. I don't even know what that is. So I have to, but I know who it is. I know this guy. I mean, I know his name from the groups. And then there's T Matcha 26 from Le Labo. And then there's this one that's unnamed. So I have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new fragrances to try for $15. And it just came in the mail. Just so easy. So easy. Anyway, now to what I wanted to talk about today. I've tried some new fragrances lately, or I've given, I haven't bought them, but a fragrance. I'm Swedish, and Byredo is a Swedish house, and I know I've kind of, talked bad about this house. I don't like their fragrances very much. I think that some of them are just loud and kind of like squarish. They have sharp edges, like Slow Dance. Bibliothèque is horrible. I mean, I liked them from the beginning, and then I couldn't wear them at all. Like I used to own those two fragrances that I just mentioned, Slow Dance and Bibliothèque. And then on the other hand, there's Bal d'Afrique, Mojave Ghost, Gypsy Water, and Gypsy Water is really like water. There's almost no smell at all. It's like, it's really, really good though. Really, really good, but I can hardly smell it. And it's the same with all those three. They're just, Bal d'Afrique is not that weak. I mean, I can smell that, but they're very they're watered down. They don't project. There's just so little there. Such a huge, huge disappointment. But there is a fragrance that I really like. I think I might have mentioned it on this channel. I had a tiny few drops of them. Now I have a decant that's 3 milliliter. I have some things here. And it's called 1996. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't really matter. 1996. And it's definitely a patchouli fragrance, and I'm very much into patchouli now, but it has a little bit of a special twist. It has leather. In the middle, it has like these makeup-y type of notes, like violet and iris. And then it has, what else do I have? I mean, I have the notes here somewhere. Okay, where did I put that? Did I not? I thought I wrote them down. Oh, there they are. So few notes. Okay, there's leather in the base as well. And then in the top, juniper berries, which I haven't been able to say that. To me, this fragrance, the closest thing I can think of is Andy Towers' L'air du désert marocain, like the air of the Moroccan desert. It's spicy. It has these kind of dry spices like cinnamon, maybe nutmeg, maybe, I don't think cloves. Cloves has maybe a touch, but that's such a strong spice. There's some spices going on here for sure that are not listed. It's a really interesting fragrance, and I read on Fragrantica that it's going to be discontinued. So I just might have to go get myself a bottle. Or, I know people that own it. Maybe I'll just get myself a 10 milliliter decant. That I might do. Or a 5-er. Because I'm not going to use this like every day when I have like 1.5 milliliter left or something like that. But I really enjoyed wearing this yesterday. It was a good fragrance. I mean, it's not for everyone, and it took some getting used to. I'm getting some kind of a boozy quality too with it when I wear it. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, guys, I have to let you know, I just let go of Overture Woman from Amouage. I don't know if I told you in my last video that I had let it go. No, I just sold it the other day. I don't think I did, but like that was one of my most expensive fragrances, and I've struggled with it for 2 years, and I just realized I'm not going to wear it. It's too loud. It smells like Calvados. You know, it has a boozy, appley kind of quality. I think there's leather in there as well. And it also had kind of a bready quality to it. And it just felt so good. I got rid of quite a few fragrances like in the last 2 weeks, and I feel so much lighter. I don't want to hold on to fragrances that I don't wear. Okay, so I want to let you know a little bit about a fragrance house that I became acquainted with last summer, Reine de Saba. And when we first walked into the shop, Fragrance and Art, in Sundsvall, it's a town up north in Sweden, or it's like halfway up Sweden. You know, Sweden's a really long country, kind of like Italy. It's kind of in the middle, but for most people live in the southern parts, like in the way north, like no one lives there, hardly. So this one, and I like the fact that they put, you know, the perfumer's name even on the samples and on the bottles. They come in only 100 ml. I don't like that. They're kind of these tall, transparent bottles that all look the same, and they have these huge metal, hideous caps that were absolutely horrible. But me and my friend, when we started sniffing those, we just thought they were so beautiful, all of them, and we were sure we were going to walk away with each a bottle from there, but they were about $300. So they're very expensive, and we just realized that there were so many other interesting things at a better price point that we preferred. But I did get some samples, and I have been able to try now this particular one, Ambre Saba. I've tried Oasis Saba, and I've tried Balqis Reine de Saba. And I'm just going to give you like a summary of this. They're beautiful fragrances. I mean, Balqis Reine de Saba by Natalie Lorson. I mean, I like her as a perfumer typically, but there's something in here that's too metallic. And it reminded me a little bit, so I went to get it out of my closet, of Poudre Imperial by Sous le Manteau. It means under the cloak. They have the same kind of like purple flowers with black pepper. So they're slightly metallic, but I prefer this, I think. I just put a squirt here right before I came on. I mean, I like it. They're both kind of like powdery fragrances. It's not bad, but it has something in there that's a little bit too pointy for me. I've written it's slightly fruity. It has mandarin orange, magnolia. It's vanilla. Yeah, it's too sharp and pointy for me to want to buy it. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy these at this price point, but mostly because they don't project. They're too quiet for me for this price point. I want more for my money. And then there's a beautiful one, Oasis Saba, by a perfumer I hadn't heard of. Her name is Domitille Michelin Berthier. But she's with IFF, and she's one of the 4 perfumers that worked on Flower Bomb, and like so many of Flower Bomb's flankers. So I mean, I guess maybe she is a master perfumer, perhaps. And she's also made Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef & Arpels. That's discontinued, but I know is a super popular fragrance. But this is really beautiful: orange blossom, myrrh, dates and cardamom, labdanum, patchouli. It has a lot of nice stuff in there, but it's a little watery for me. It has a great rating on Fragrantica, 4.28. And Ambre Saba, this is the one I first mentioned. I've got notes on that one too. That's by Sophie Labbe. And that's in kind of an olibanum, black pepper, ambergris, vanilla, and something called Dreamwood. Yeah, this is what I've written. You need quite a few sprays to get the right effect. Like, every single fragrance from the house was really beautiful and nice. Like, I'd say maybe even call them people pleasers. Like, everybody would like them. I think the one I didn't like, there was one I didn't like. I don't know if it was like the oud or the incense, or there was one like maybe a little more like traditionally masculine leaning that I didn't like so much. But basically, nice house, hideous caps, like the presentation, I don't like it, but beautiful fragrances. And I like the fact that they mentioned the perfumer. Oh, and then I want to tell you about some other fragrance news. and kind of I was having lunch with someone Saturday, a man. It wasn't really a date, but somebody I know, let's say. And on the way there, I went to Cow, this perfume place that one of my favorite perfume stores in Stockholm, and they sell this line called D'Orsay. It's a French line, and they have come out now. I'm not going to talk about this fragrance. I've talked about it before. They've come out now with 3 new fragrances, and one of them is called Tonka Hysteria. Is it called Hysteria? I was wondering if it's called Hysteria. No, it's called not. Tonka Hysteria. It's a really nice fragrance with a little bit of a citrusy top, and then it has like tonka, vanilla, maybe some myrrh. I don't know exactly what's in there. I didn't take the notes, but I couldn't stop sniffing my hand. I thought it was just beautiful. And then I put that on one hand. And then I put on the other hand, I put a squirt of Sin and Pleasure from the Korean house Borntostandout, which is a real gourmand, like caramel, vanilla. I don't know if there's chocolate in there, but it's like all sweet and just notes. Not things that I wear a lot, but when I'm in the mood, I like a fragrance like that. And I'm really hooked on this. Like every time I go there, I try it on, basically. So I have these 2 fragrances on each hand. But when I left the house, I chose this. And this is my new purchase from this summer called Hasu no Hana. And okay, so I let the guy I was seeing I let him sniff here, I let him sniff here, and I let him sniff here. And he said there was no question this one was the winner. It was way, way better than D'Orsay's Tonka Hysteria and Sin and Pleasure. And I'm just so happy to hear that because I confirmed, my own purchase. But the Tonka Hysteria, I just wanted to say about those 3 new fragrances are in a different line than these. These are kind of a quieter, I think they're I don't know if they're EDTs or EDP. I think EDPs, but the new ones are extrays. So they're like a more concentrated formula. And I definitely could feel that, but they were not. I mean, Sin and Pleasure stayed on all night. Tonka Hysteria did not. This one has pretty good longevity. Not like not beast mode, but good. But this is really expensive stuff. So I don't know if I could like recommend it as like value for money. Then I want to mention a couple other fragrances now that I've worn. My favorite, Le Lion, from Chanel. This one, it came up in one of the, like our version of eBay. Or was it on eBay? No, it was actually one of the Facebook groups. It was almost full, and it was like $100. I would save $100 compared to buying it new. But I felt like, why do I want to bind up that money? Like it's a lot of money. Even if I would, if I'm saving money compared to buying one new, that's not really the question you should ask yourself. I do these videos to help you save money. So I'm trying to inspire you to not buy. And okay, look how much I have left. And this is a beast mode fragrance. So you need even if I wear 4 sprays, they stay on me for 15 hours. Maybe I can even smell it the next day on my skin. That's how good this fragrance is. And I don't wear it more than maybe, even though I love it a lot, I love perfume in general a lot too. So maybe I'm wearing it once a month. So I'm going to be I'll have juice left for years. So I don't need to bind up that money. That money could be on the stock market, growing while I'm using this up. And then when I get to the end of this, I can start looking for a deal. It'll be much more fun than to have like a backup bottle of the same fragrance. So I'm so glad I caught myself there, because you have to feel, bound capital is not, it's not smart. Ask Warren Buffett. I'm sure he would say, we would recommend to not go for it. Okay. That was that. And then I wanted to talk about something I tried this morning. So I tried these 2 fragrances that I bought last summer. One is Gardenia from Isabe, and one is Lys Noir from the same house, Isabe, which is not much spoken about. And these are both floral fragrances. And the Gardenia one is just beautiful, natural, floral fragrance. Some people were on Fragrantica saying it's a granny fragrance. I don't agree at all. But it could be maybe put in the category like, oh, this is beautiful. Like, this is just beautiful. And someone might tend to get a little bored with it because there's nothing in there that that you have to work with or kind of like struggle with, as you would one of my favorite fragrances from, or I mean, this is when I first learned this fragrance or when I first wore it, I really didn't like it and I had to struggle with it. And it's Arbole from Here I'm Green, all natural, by the way. This one has something in it. It's tonka, patchouli, vanilla, lots and lots of patchouli. And it has something in here that's a little cough medicine-like. It's a little asphalt. I don't know. There's something in here that I had to like learn to like. There's nothing that you need to learn to like in gardenia. This is just pure beauty. And I'm glad that I only got the 10 mil because I don't think that pure beauty is going to keep me intrigued for so long, even though it's really great. And it's such a nice little lipstick size to keep in your purse. And as people were comparing it to another fragrance that I happen to have a decant of, and I want to let you know a little bit about this. I think it's a little on the quiet side. Not as quiet as Reine de Saba fragrances, but a little too quiet for my typical taste. Gardez-moi from Javoy. Gardez-moi, I think, means give me. Or no, it means look at me, I think. I think it means see me or look at me, watch me. This one was... yeah, this is a master perfumer's, Bertrand de Chafour. It came out in 2013. It's kind of an odd fragrance. I don't find them so similar. I mean, they have definitely like ylang ylang in common. They've got some notes in common for sure. But this gives me tuberose vibes, although it's not listed. But it is heavier than the other one, than Gardenia, and it's greener because it has tomato leaf in it, which not many fragrances have. I mean, I know there's one, I think it's Italian Leather from Memo that has this note. You know when you kind of rub tomato plant leaves, the tomato leaves, it has a very special smell, kind of really green. And it's funny, some people on Fragrantic, I always think it's fun to read the reviews. Some people say, I can't get any tomato leaf at all. And someone said 75% tomato leaf. And I'll tell you the truth. No, what I get, I'm saying, the truth is somewhere in between. I get a lot of tomato leaf. And it has like aldehydes, coriander, black pepper. So there's kind of a lot of like, kind of strong things going on. And it's kind of a little bit earthy. It's got oak moss in the base. I mean, you got to try this. This is... I think that the House of Javoy is good value for money. And they now sell their perfumes in a smaller size. I can't remember if it's 15 or 30, but they used to have only 100. And this Gardez-moi, I really recommend you to try it if you pass by Paris or London. I don't know where else you could probably order samples, but Gardez-moi, I really like this one, but I haven't worn it that much because it's a little bit too much tuberose, I think, for me, even though it's not in there. But maybe I'm getting these, it has white lily, jasmine, ylang ylang, mimosa. Like these other florals are giving me that same kind of, many people describe it as bubblegummy. I don't know if I don't get that vibe. I don't think, to me, it doesn't smell like bubblegum. Okay, so there are, those were those three florals. The Lys Noir, the Gardenia from Isabelle, and Gardez-moi from Javoy. And then I want to tell you about two more fragrances. One that I'm kind of giving up on, and it's called Slow World from Chasing Scents. Excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but now was the first time I gave it like a proper wearing. It's so smoky. And it has something called puer tea in the top. That's like a tea that's supposed to like increase your, I guess it burns calories, or it's good for your health or something. Like people drink it for other reasons than that it tastes good. And I actually was able to put my nose into a bag of puer tea. It has to do with the fermenting process that it's described as puer. I'm not quite, it's P-U-E-R. And there's kind of an apostrophe in between the P-U and the E-R. It also has malt, which I think is kind of like a form of sugar, but it's like, it really smells like, if you like smokiness, like the smokiness from a single malt whiskey or Lapsang Souchong tea, like that kind of smokiness, you might like this. Because the first thing that it reminded me of was Oud Bouquet from Lancôme exclusive series, Oud Bouquet, which is a rose and oud fragrance. And this doesn't even have any of those notes listed. Let's see what it has. But it's incensey, I think. Let's see. Maybe it's the saffron. It has saffron. Maybe that's what's making me think of rose and oud because they typically combine those notes. It has dragon blood resin, very unusual note. I don't know. I've never seen it in fragrance before. And it has incense and sandalwood and this malt. It's very smoky. And it smells a little bit like wet concrete after the rain. I don't know if you're into that kind of smell, but this whole house, I think it's like they only have a few fragrances, like maybe 5 or 6 fragrances, maybe 4, I can't remember. But they're all based around the note of tea. And so is this one. And it's so smoky. I don't know. I'm just not, I can't see myself wearing it again. I don't know. I don't know. Mm-mm. And then there's one last fragrance here on what I want to share today. And it's from this very expensive designer house called Celine. And it's their new fragrance, Zuzu. And Zuzu is like something you used to call, I think back in the day, I don't know, in the 50s, something, maybe I'm not even in the right decade, but historically they used to call in France like a nickname for a girl with short hair. I guess maybe when short hair was just becoming popular or like when not so many had it. It's their vanilla fragrance. And it just smells like, they all kind of smell the same to me. And they're all super beautiful. Their fragrances, like every single one of them. There's none of them that are bad. I mean, Black Tie is beautiful. The Palo Santo one is called Eau de Californie is beautiful. Dans Paris, there's one called Reptile that's more in a leather direction. The Black Tie one goes like in an orris direction. Eau de Californie is like a Palo Santo. And this one just kind of has the vanilla base that they all have. It's kind of musky. It's, I'm just going to spray it now. I just don't think it's worth the money. These are really, really pricey, these fragrances, but they're all so good. Oh, there's one called Night Clubbing. The Night Clubbing one smells like when I used to go out when I was young and everyone smoked inside, but in a good way, which is really strange. Like, how can something smell like an ashtray and still be good? This one is. So, I mean, I definitely think you should go into Celine's shop and try their fragrances, but to me, they're just not worth the money. Really, really not. No bang for the buck. And this Zuzu is no exception. But it's a beautiful fragrance. I don't know if you're interested in, I think I got the notes here. It's vanilla, tonka, benzoin, labdanum, musk, and patchouli. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. I can't say anything else. It's like, but it's not interesting. I wouldn't call it interesting, but it's really a good fragrance. And it's just kind of quiet and it dies down pretty quick. So I'd save your money. You can always go in a store and try it, but I just wouldn't spend my money there. I don't think it's worth it. And it in terms of uniqueness, if you guys care about that, I do. I care about uniqueness because if it all smells the same, then I don't need them all. But like Le Lion is super unique to me. And Arbolé is super unique. Some of them like remind of other fragrances, but they still have their own, like, this is super unique. I can't say anything about Slow World not being unique because it's super unique. Even if it reminds me of Oud Bouquet, it definitely has its own take on something. And I think it's fine to take inspiration from something and then you add something and make it into something new. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. Okay. So that was all for now. Please let me know. Do you agree with this? What fragrance houses do you think are worth the money? And which ones do you think maybe are good, but just not worth the money? I mean, I think Grossmith, this was like $300 for 50 ml. It's like so expensive, but I really feel so happy to have it. I think it's just so beautiful. And, when my lunch date there said that this is better than both Sin and Pleasure and the Extrays from D'Orsay, then I'm like, okay, it's worth it to me. It's just so satisfying. It's so deep. It's so dense. It's vintage, but in a new way. It doesn't have that. I think vintage, the way it used to be like in the 90s, because I was an adult then, and I wore these fragrances. I found that you typically had to wait so long before the fragrance was good. Now I think the houses are getting better, like at good openings. And that's not enough. I mean, the dry down is maybe the most important, but you don't want to suffer for 20 minutes before you get the good stuff. Like I thought many of the floral fragrances were so sharp, like they were almost headache inducing. And then they had this like kind of sour, earthy oak moss that just, I don't know. I think that some of the modern, a lot of people say everything was better, used to be better in the 80s, 90s. I don't agree. I don't agree. I like the vintage, the new vintage, like when they've gotten inspired by vintage, but they still bring something new to the table. We don't have to suffer anymore for 20 minutes, so that's good. Well, that was all for today, guys.